Love you, my word. Ooh-wee, indeed, and greetings upon you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Man, I need to put my bong down somewhere without bumping it over and spilling my water. Gare Bear? Gare Bear, dude. When has the last time been when you were first in stream? That's the question that I'm wondering about right now. Shannon, so lovely to have you in this space with me. We gained a new Patreon supporter today, and it is Gare Bear himself. Gare Bear reached out today, in love. Me and him got to have like this amazing conversation. Let's call it about realization, like realizing just how much we're cared for, how much we're supported, how much we're loved by our world, and how certain experiences can allow us access to a certain depth of love. And as we're like discussing this, and as we're discussing, manifestation and what the future is going to hold, one of the things come up, the streams and the the Patreon comes up, and my intention with the Patreon to actually earn myself a livable wage, if you will. And there is this question that comes up in me, like this genuine question of like, what is it that we are worth? What is it I am worth, especially in the context of cultural norms? Like we have this idea in our heads that we need certain things and we need to have cars and houses and we need to be married and have kids and na story, and like literally the whole thing that I stand for is melting away those cultural norms and educating. I don't like necessarily the word educating, but maybe showing, that there is a way to live happily without having all of those things. And while at the same time having to try and balance this reality of having those things, so it's this weird contrast that we kind of like get to be a part of together. And in this whole trip, and I feel like Gary Bear literally helped me do some conscious work today. I i asked him, like a fly in my hair. Let's see if he's gonna get released. He's like in hair prison right now, stuck in one of my curls. Come on, dude. You out yet? I don't hear him anymore. Anyway, so just thank you, Gare Bear. Thank you so much, brother Bear. Like genuinely, I know for a fact that the Patreon will be something that we can use to support this space. And it's just a matter of what it's worth. It's gonna be a matter of what it's worth. Like I was thinking, $1. Like you cannot even buy a chocolate bar of $1 anymore, right? Can you? Can you buy a chocolate bar? Maybe one of the small ones. So like in comparison, how many chocolate bars are you willing to do? Would you feed me chocolate bars if it mean I continue talking? So I'm so happy. I'm so happy because I know that this is something that would be able to serve me, going into the future. And the way that I'm doing it, like I'm genuinely with a depth in my heart, like me and Gary Bear got to talk about the love that nature have for us. And I've shared this understanding with you friends that I believe that one of the ways nature tells us it loves us is by giving us flowers. Like receiving flowers from Mother Nature. If that isn't the most beautiful display of love, then I don't know what is. And I feel like I have only recently really consolidated the understanding, even though we've been doing, the flower thing, since the start of the year. And I went and did some research yesterday. Went and like looked at some sites, and there's like a whole list of studies that we've done on flowers and the way that they affect our neurobiology. And like we can literally feel better just by looking at flowers, and then trying to picture that in this context of creating flowers that don't actually exist. So if normal flowers that we do know exist, flowers that we potentially render in our minds right now when we think of flowers, if those type of flowers stimulate a certain response, a certain feeling in us, what would flowers that we've never seen before do? And just that is an idea as well. Like this whole stream is about melting away cultural norms. And I want you friends to ask me, I want you friends to like share some of your cultural norm understandings. What is it you feel is required of you in this life? And then to ask ourselves, are they really? You know? And my current cultural norm that I'm fighting with right now is, do I need to earn a living? And I have a hard time with it because I don't actually believe I need to earn a living, and that's definitely not something that serves me right now, because believing that I don't need to earn a living comes from this place of, I am already alive, we're already alive exactly as we are, and I'm fortunate enough to have friends that love me enough to feed me, so even if I wanted to be homeless, they wouldn't allow me to be. So I'm like fighting with this idea, this one polarity of melting away the cultural norm of having to own a house and having to own a car and having to have a certain amount of abundance and buy Gucci bags or whatever people do when they have money. While at the same time being willing, being responsible enough, I think might be the word, to actually value my own time, to value what it is I'm doing, to value my capacity to continue doing it, right? Like we can only do that much with what we have where we are, and we can only do more if we allow ourselves to. So, brother Bear, yeah, Bear, thank you. Thank you so much for allowing this space to continue, dude. Like in your way, in all of your friends' ways. Thank you so much for being in this moment with me. Those faces you make, Shannon. Like it's either me looking down, but now I'm like conscious of it because I know that you know. So I'm like, thank you for joining us, Shannon. Lawn mowing is a weird cultural norm. Oh goodness, just lawn keeping. Like a part of me likes lawns, right? Because I can go and walk on them. Yes, I can put my feet on grass and I can walk on said grass. And I can go and sit down. I can put a little, blanket down and I can sit in the grass. And from that side of the infinity, I do understand the appeal of lawns. But did you know that one of our biggest agricultural water usager, or you cannot figure words right now, users is grass, like actual lawns, like we use so much water just watering our lawns. And to ask if that is sustainable in the long term. And what's the alternative? That's the thing. I'm trying to think. Like I kind of maybe moss. Moss might be a better alternative. It might be a really good alternative, but is it going to be as tough, to wear and tear to people stepping on it? That is a real question. You're right though, Shova. You're so right, Fred. It is a weird cultural norm. Diana, thank you for joining us, friend. It's so nice having you here. Flowers, flowers, Shannon. Flowers into the forever. I'm also planning, like as another little fractal experimentation, because like I want to come to America. Like I want to come to America relatively soonish, and I cannot come to America if I cannot afford to at least stay there for a while. That is my current fractal that I'm playing with. I'm like, sure, I can go to America, and I might go to America soonish. And then I'm like, yeah, how are you gonna afford that? So now I'm like playing with all of these different possibilities. I'm looking for a stick, but I don't really need one. I still want one though. There we go. This is gonna be a perfect stick. Thank you for joining me, friends. Finding yourself in this moment with me, talking about beloved friends, Mariah. Melting away our cultural norm doesn't mean you need to be homeless. Unless you're going to the extreme, is the point. Kind of like quitting a drug. You need to completely eliminate all triggers. That's what I'm like getting at a little bit, Mariah. And I'm gonna smoke weed right now for the same reason, right? Like we have this cultural understanding, cultural norm of people that smoke weed are doing so to escape. People are smoking weed to just get mellow, dude. Just gonna do nothing for the day, you know? But you can use weed as a means to consciously evolve. You can use weed as something that can genuinely help you grow if you use it that way, you know? And like melting away that cultural norm in and of itself as well. I'll read something we're saying. Maybe we'll like the intention for today is melting away cultural norms, you know, and that's straight up. No more, no more, please, culture, please, please. You cannot have the cultural norms. Like we just, I mean, what it is we're doing right now, right? Like this is in and of itself something that goes against cultural norms. Like my occupation is definitely not something culturally normal. Very much not so. And yet here we are still doing it, still defying it, still being deviant. Is that the word? I think so. Maybe. Deviant. Defiant? No. Okay. Little flies, this is my warning to all of you. If you assault my being, murder awaits. Please don't. Please don't land on me, please. You have all of the infinity in every single direction to fly. No fly zone, please. Here. Shields. Shields up. I don't want you to die. I feel the same way. I feel like I don't need slash want the social norms, but the world seems to make it difficult to go against those norms. I'm wondering how to make it work for a while. Just exist with what you are given as well as what you need. I know, Mariah. That's what I'm trying to do at this point as well. You know, I'm really trying to make myself as aware as I possibly can with what is necessary. You know, and then there are these, let's call them expectations, you know, worldly expectations. And it's not, I'm not expected these things from a place of being coerced into it, but like it would benefit the beings that expect it, you know? So from that mutual benefit, it's something that I am considering. Because if I am more abundant, I can do more things. I'd be able to travel more. I'd be able to actually go places, you know? And in going places, meeting the people that we find in this space, and meeting people that we find in this space, actually continue growing. Continue growing, be able to share. Like one of my biggest dreams for this space is to have Isaac, Clausy, Gerber, Fash, Jovan, Mariah, Shannon, all of you friends to have you next to me, and then we can have a conversation, and then to stream that conversation, you know, that stream of consciousness between beings is exactly what we're doing. We're just doing it over the internet right now. So my idea, the ideal idea for me, is to be able to do this in a way that we can actually share with the rest of the world, and I can go to different places in the world and then share the experience of sharing experience. You know, literally encouraging one another to see the beauty in every single being, to learn from every single being that we find in this world. And ooh, I look forward to it. I look forward to it, and we're gonna do it. We already are. You know, step by step, we're getting there. Exactly, Mel. You were doing perfectly. It's like you were stressing about not having anything to stress about. That's it, Mariah. That's it. So I mean, I wasn't stressing about not having anything to stress about. And then there was suddenly a change of my ideas. You know, like I was like, oh, yes, I'm going to do the thing, you know, and this is what I'm going to do. And then someone was like, how about this? about, how about something else? And then I was like, oh, all right. I'm sure I feel that those little flies landing on me. You know, like I feel like I'm primed for murder. Murder of bruh. Stop it, dude. The little fly just landed on me again. Please, please don't land on me. You know, it's for your own safety. I'm warning you. Save yourselves, little flies. Run away. Hi, beautiful souls. How was your day? Peppermint Modern. Okay. Thank you for joining us, friend. My day has been so beautiful. You know, so so what's the word? There's a word. Present. Maybe present is the word. You know, I was like from this morning, I woke up with a sense of I'm supposed to be waking up now, you know. And I woke up a little bit earlier than I used to, and I sent Aaron a message and just told him that I'm thinking about him. And he basically replied instantaneously. So I asked him if he wants to have a call real quick. And we had like an hour phone call this morning. It was just, you know, a beautiful transmission as well. So that's kind of how I started my day and got to talk to Gare Bear. Him, like, he is also like evolving. Gare Bear is actually starting to become a hippie, slowly but surely. Or pulling you like, come here, you highly intellectual person pursuing inner enlightenment. Come here. He almost bought himself, you know, tie dye pants and everything. So he's really getting into it, and just being able to see that, you know, like even though that conversation that me and Gare Bear had was over the phone, over text alone, I grew from that text. I grew from that experience. And to be able to have that conversation in person, I cannot even imagine how much that's going to do. How much it's going to continue to do. Like, we have so much power, friends, just in talking to one another. You can go and change someone's life right now. Uh, like, literally. You can literally go and change someone's life just by talking to them. And you're like, oh, I have no power. Oh, I am just a human being. Oh, I am just a pawn to the system. No, you're not. No, you're not, friend. You are extremely powerful. This sign, you see this sign? Apparently, you know, and I'm saying apparently kind of coyly because who knows? Who knows really? But apparently, this sign is supposed to be a bridge to your higher self. And it's something that I chose to put on this little bong of mine. It was made by a friend, and she made this tree of life as the fundamental symbolization of what I believe in. And then alongside the tree of life, you know, the eye of Horus, the atom, the wheel, the Ouroboros, self-eating snake, peace, of course, the ultimate Om, the little Jesus fish, I guess. I think this is moon supposed to be. And then, of course, the yin and yang, the infinity. And then this is like a sacred object in my life, an actual sacred object. And I like to push my hands against these little, so these are little rocks, as you can see, they're textured. And I like to press my hand up against them, and I imagine all of those little termination points, you know, where it's like making little indents on my skin, you know, like little energy centers getting activated. And I set an intention, you know, why is it that I actually want to smoke today? Instead of just smoking for like the sake of smoking, instead of just like smoking just to feel better, I smoke for like a very specific reason. And today's whole stream is about melting away cultural norms. Don't let people tell you what you're supposed to be, friend. Please. Like, we have enough people who are being what they think they're supposed to be being, you know? I got another one. Little flies. I don't like doing this, yo. I mean, I'm guessing that's a fly. Look at this dude, another one landing in my freaking hair. You see, that's what they do. So they not only land on me, but they get stuck in my arm hairs, and they're like, oh, and then my body is like, danger, danger, insect detected, and I cannot help myself. My instincts will murder you, little flies. Please, please, this dude, please, dude, save yourself. Natalie, so nice to have you here with me, friend. Thank you for joining us. Okay, fine. I'll smoke it. I promise. Melting away the cultural norms. So on top of it, I'm also trying with the smoking of the weed, right? Like, we have this whole cultural understanding of what weed users do, how weed users are. So you can either say that I am padding onto that cultural norm, or I'm trying to melt it away. And your perception of that is going to be your work getting past the cultural norm. Okay? All right. Experimenting with you, friends. Thank you. Melting away cultural norms. Please, Mrs. Wynn. Yeah. Maybe I'll sit against my. Oh, yeah. That'll do it. That'll definitely do it. Oh no, I have to try and get it to stay. That'll do it as well. There we go. Thank you eternally for joining me. Let's read something worth saying. Okay. I am the one who chooses the effects that I experience. I alone interpret all neutral relationships or experiences. I alone place value upon objects, things, thoughts, and belief systems. And I alone am the literal creator of my moment to moment experience. Woo! If that isn't melting away cultural norms. Like goodness. So I do like to open this little book at random and just kind of read what comes first. And the fact that that is the one. Once more, I and like feel this with me. I call all of these things worth saying because I feel just upon saying them or upon hearing them, it can make you feel something. It can stimulate something in you, and hopefully that stimulation, that activation, can serve you going into the future. So again, I am the one who chooses the effects that I experience. I alone interpret all neutral relationships or experiences. I alone place value upon objects, things, thoughts, and belief systems. I alone am the literal creator of my moment to moment experience. Hey, little ant. Before I close my book. You are the literal creator of your moment to moment experience, friend. Like you have been this whole time. You are creating this experience right now. You're looking at pixels on a screen and you're hearing pressure waves coming out of your speaker. And then you're literally constructing messages. You're constructing a feeling. You're constructing an experience of what this is that's happening right now from noise, an extreme amount of noise, and yet here you are capable of staying with it. You are quite capable, Fred. That's amazing. Thank you for allowing this experience. Thank you for being here. I think between us friends, if you came here, you would all make sure that you had a place to stay and food to eat and internet to stream. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But I wouldn't be able to travel. You see, and that's the thing. That's the real thing. That's the actual thing, Shannon. Because I would like to see multiple of you friends, and I would be okay if I'm at your friends' places, right? So I have food to eat, a couch to sleep on, which would be great, an internet to stream with. But getting there, like I kind of like did some research, and I was like, I would literally be broke in a day. And if I tried to travel, I was like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, I, we're working on it. We are working on it. We have a few months. Let us create our own cultural norms. We already are, Natalie. Ones of love, ones of genuine acceptance of one another, ones of curiosity. Oh, goodness. Infinite curiosity. If that isn't what we stand for, and with that, I genuinely believe the only reason you would want or have infinite curiosity is if you love things, right? Like, we're not curious about people we don't love. If someone, you really feel like this person needs to go away right now, please. Like, you're not gonna hang on to every word they say. You're not going to want to learn more about them. You're not gonna be present with their presence. So it's only in love that we become interested. And it's only through becoming interested that we can really feel the love that is there to be felt. It's like two sides of the infinity that feed into one another as well. It's spectacular. Custom piece. I shall join. Please. Okay, please. 100 nights of Airbnb. The tree of life has always made me feel a certain kind of way. I've wanted to get a tree of life tattoo for a while. It's beautiful. I've also recently started thinking about getting a tree of life tattoo. And I've still been working on getting a triangle tattoo. And dude, please, this little fly is gonna get so wrecked. I don't want to stop the fly. Stop it. I want to get a triangle tattoo that has some sort of sacred geometry implemented on it. That has the 1, 2, 3. That has like little bars. Has so this freaking fly. It's so beautiful to me. Because I feel like one of the cultural norms that this space, the spiritual space kind of induces is the practice of nonviolence, right? And I practice nonviolence as much as I can. Like if I see an ant on my book, for example, or in my water, I'll try and help him out. But the beings that continuously assault me, like a mosquito bringing its little freaking straw up to my skin and penetrating my skin. And then while at the same time penetrating my skin, injecting me with skin dissolving saps to make sure that my little platelets can't actually seal the gap and it keeps getting dissolved so it can continue sucking my blood. And then after it leaves, that becomes an irritation. So now I'm dealing with an itch for like a day or something. The amount of that builds in my being. some point, some point, I have to draw a line, and I don't want to. I really don't want to. If the mosquitoes asked permission, for example, it was like, hey, bruh, I'm gonna like suck in your foot for like 20 seconds, and then I'm gonna be done for like literally my entire life because they only really feed once technically, some of them. And I'll be like, okay, I have a lot of blood, feel free. None of that weird shit. And they'll be like, sick, none of that weird shit. Just don't heal or whatever. But no, non-consenting. And the little flies as well, if they wanted some spit or something, they would just want to sit on my shoulder or just like listen in. I would be like, sick, dude, sit still. You just have a you have a seat. I'll give you some. Here you go. Here's some water for you. And that would be amazing. But no, assault. Only assault. Oh, freaking cultural norms. Huh? You feel it? You feel it? Yeah, I think you feel it. You know what I'm talking about. I could find you those things in my region, away from myself and my ability to self-sustain for a few weeks at a time. Atlantic Canadians are great about hooking their friends up. Canadians, how beautiful. Mosquitoes also carry additional contamination risk for you. I've had malaria. Natalie, I have had malaria. We went to Mozambique and we did have mosquito nets. But for some reason, during the night, I kind of had my arm underneath my pillow, and then from there, scooted it out, underneath the mosquito net. And I like woke up with like 34 mosquito bites. I used to say 33, but like 34 mosquito bites. Like literally, you couldn't put your finger down anywhere on my hand without touching mosquito bites. And I felt like I wanted to put my hand in like a circular grinder. I distinctly remember imagining some sort of like scratching device that's like circularly pulling in, and I was like, that is horrifically dangerous. Anyway, and I got malaria, and it's such a weird disease as well because it takes you in these waves. It convinces you that you're okay, and then you move, and then because you're moving and you exert yourself, that's what kills you. So like it's this thing that almost like wants to gimmick you into moving your body, but you have to like stay still and you have to try and rest up as much as you can. And it's like literal. I don't know if I want to share this with you, friends. Like malaria is no joke. Oh goodness. So I don't think I am going to share it just because it's so horrific. It go and Google what malaria actually does to you. And then understand why it's killed so many people. Oh goodness. Malaria, like mosquitoes, only 5% of the total mosquito species actually drinks human blood. There's a little bug in my water again. Actually drinks human blood, and that 5% of the species kills more humans than humans do. Excuse me, what? Yeah, mosquitoes have a higher death toll on humans than other humans. So, part of me feels like I'm okay with killing them. Definitely defending my race. Defending my race against the mosquitoes. Okay, friends, I'm going to say hi to you, but I won't be able to read the comments because I want to be present with you again. We have Jovan saying hi to Gare Bear. Rara Hertz joining us again. Brother Ryan. Miss Molly. Hey. Mrs. Mrs. Not 32. I think I called you that. Thank you for joining us. Vananoke for the love. I appreciate it. Lisa, beloved friend. So nice to have you here. I'm not sure. I'm gonna ask. It's not you're not the same Lisa who was in the yoga class today. That's like there was another Lisa in the yoga class and I was like tripping out for a second. Hilio, the cultural norm of being expected to drink alcohol as a way to socialize. What a trip that is. Oh goodness. And that is oddly enough one I was thinking about today. You know, like we're so oddly that you say that, Hilio. And like we have all been exposed to the internet as of late, and the word gigapint has definitely become a meme, I guess. You can say like an understanding of the absurdity of what's happening right now, maybe. So this gigapint, I was thinking about this gigapint comment, and the response if I felt it necessary. And just imagining one day in my future household not even having alcohol, and I don't drink alcohol in my own time as well, and not having alcohol and not even having that experience of pouring myself a drink, but potentially I would smoke marijuana, and how that is maybe at the current level of our society against cultural norms, but it's definitely becoming more widely accepted, especially here on Reddit. I think we're pretty progressive for the most part, but like alcohol consumption in and of itself, we know it's not good for us. And you know what the biggest thing is? For me, it's logical. The reason that I don't like alcohol, it's the quantity and the sheer volume of molecules you have to consume to actually gain the effects it's supposed to induce in you. Like with marijuana, I'm like inhaling, and then those inhaled particles, cross my lung membrane and then get transported to my brain and the rest of my body. You have endocannabinoid receptors everywhere, and then that kind of like induces a response. But I'm literally smoking like a tenth of a gram once, and then I'm okay for 40 minutes easily. Sometimes for the entire day, versus literally having to drink multiple, sometimes a gallon, sometimes multiple liters at events. I mean, maybe not a gallon, right? You're like, yes, you fucking melt. Who drinks a gallon of alcohol? I don't know. Maybe some people drink gallons of alcohol. Okay, so like you have to drink 5 beers, let's say 5 beers to feel it, right? Or 2 beers. I don't know how much people have to drink, but the sheer volume of stuff you have to put into your body to get the same effect is so sheer. It's like it's ridiculous. And then you can go down to other stuff. For example, like the LSD molecule, literal micrograms. Like stuff. Like a drop of it falls on your skin, and then that causes a whole a psychedelic experience. Like that is how powerful that type of substance is. And then again, in this context of evolving as a species, we want to consume less and have more of an experience, right? That's the ideal, to be able to live the fullness of our lives while at the same time being as efficient as we possibly can doing so. So, like, just that, like, after having a psychedelic experience, the alcoholic one completely lost its draw, because I knew that there was a two sides of the infinity there that I didn't notice before. Gabby goo! Thank you for joining us, man. Melt away the norm of economic slavery. Gum, like that is kind of what we were talking about today as well. And I feel maybe what it is we're trying to do here is melting away the economic slavery, because we're trying, like, the fundamental thing that we're trying to do here is empower people, right? And to take this as an inspiration to start doing things that you believe in, right? Like if you do things that you love and you believe in and you stay at it, society will reward you for it 100% of the time, because you're doing something. And even if it's just you who likes that thing, like for example, there's this Adam Conover series on Netflix that is about the government, right? And there's like some things in there that I was like really about. But there was like something that happened where there was a vet student who really enjoyed autopsying dead animals, and that was her passion for life. Like she was so fascinated by seeing diseases and how they influenced the internal organs of cattle. So she became an inspector at, like a food safety corporation. And just to like think of it in that context, right? Like she did something that she enjoyed, and she continued doing something that she enjoyed. And then society literally generated the position for her to actually slot in perfectly. And if you continue doing what you enjoy and you show up for it for 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, an hour a day at least, and you can do it with exercise. You can literally enjoy to exercise and just take care of yourself in that way, and the amount of benefits it will have for your brain, for your life going into the future. Every single action you take is a token for who you want to be, right? It's this constant weighing system, and that is going to melt away economic slavery, because once we believe more in ourselves and once we invest more in ourselves, we're going to realize our self-worth and not be like not have the capacity to be enslaved. Like we're not going to want to continue with that. We already don't want, like you can see it. Anti-work is absolutely exploding. People are like done. People are so done. People are so fucking done. They're like, no, no. Something has to change, Something has to change or we're gonna break. And the humans are always gonna win. Let them eat cake. Excuse me? What the fuck did you just say? Oh, I second that 100%. Your worth cannot be monetized. No, it cannot, friend. And that's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to monetize worth. I'm trying to empower the individual. I want to create a society in which people are that which is the valuable resource, right? Not resources that we extract from the planet, but the people. You are the fundamental token of the resource, the infinity, the thing that peers into both sides of reality. Oh, I'm melting away the cultural norms. Yes, you friend, you are the thing that's valuable. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I'm trying nice to have a thick, fluffy layer of moss cultured with lots of pools that have large reeds, bringing bugs and reptiles. Oh, hey, dude, imagine watching the lizards, like swimming, maybe just seeing the lizards chilling next to your pool, baking in the sun, just vibing with nature, dude. I love that idea. Thank you for sharing that with me. Melt away the aggression between opposing peoples. I don't know, okay. I feel the best way to melt away that separation is realizing that there is none, right? Like the same consciousness that you have peering out into this reality right now is the exact same consciousness that finds itself in you, in the person that it is you're looking at, your family and your friends. It's just another expression of the same consciousness that is you. And once you see that, it becomes so much easier to really love yourself. And by extension, loving yourself bleeds out into loving everything and everyone else. And we're all capable of it. And, like sometimes it takes weird experiences to really realize that reality, but it's always there. We just get so caught up, extremely so. Lawns were a sign of wealth. Hey, look at this land I don't have to use. Also, parts of our backyard is moss, and it does not hold up the best. I thought so, Gare Bear. Thank you for letting me know that, Brother Bear. I mean, you do have forested area as well, dude. I'm just like imagining Gare Bear's fractal. He comes out of his environment, and there are these trees, surrounding him, entities, keeping the space, literally keeping the space, making sure it's safe, protecting him from wind. How beautiful. Truly melt. Remember all the people that would keep you in their home free of charge. Me. Who goes a long way in travel. Thank you so much, beloved friend. And I know that, and I'm legit okay with sleeping on a couch as well. Because I don't need much. We don't really need that much. And I feel I've grown the most. Like there was this period in my life where I stopped working as a salesman for audiovisual equipment, and I was preparing to go to China, and then there was like a 3 month, 2.5 month gap where I didn't have work and I didn't have a place to stay. So I stayed at the commune with my friends, and I was sleeping on a couch. And that experience was so beautiful. I grew so much. I got to share more love in a period of time than I've ever been able to before I started doing these streams, and that's where I truly realized what I think my purpose is supposed to be. And it was sharing love, genuinely being in the space with other friends and just being able to share love with them and see that reflection, how their love being shared with me makes me more capable of sharing love with them, vice versa, vice versa. And the growth that we experience in doing that, and to be able, and I share this with Gerber, that is what we're doing, and the fact that you friends, so I love what I'm doing, and the fact that you friends love me for doing it melts my mind. Like, how is this? How is reality even real? I love you friends so much. Thank you. You may stay with me. I can pick you up. All expenses paid up. Bali. Your friends are melting me. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for melting away my cultural norms. Literally. Like actively. That's how this whole story that I had, and I was like, nah. No, no. Or this one, no. It's a tonight question. Some cultural norms. Oh, these little flies. I think I've killed like four of them. Just this one stream. It's a tonight question. Some cultural norms are important and exist for a reason. Some people buck the norm to the desirement of all. Yep. But other times the norm is the problem. Rara Hertz, I feel the real thing that we should take into consideration is not so much the cultural norms themselves, but doing things that we don't like doing because we think other people like doing the thing. That is what we mean when we melt away cultural norms. Like, you shouldn't be doing things that you don't like doing because you think other people are gonna like you more or like doing the thing. That is like peer pressure 101. That's literally what we were taught against, from being little kids, and yet we do it all the time. We allow that experience of dissatisfaction to continue against our own better judgment because we think other people don't have better judgment. And it's so hilarious. Tough question. Sorry, you're okay. No, it is a tough question, friend. You're right. My lawn is a green area. It's mostly moss and tall yellow little flowers. Most people call them weeds. I will not cut the lawn for another week. I'm thinking as well, to have natural lawns like that. And if anything, if you really want a piece of like normal lawn, to like do it in a section, like under a tree, for example, and to have the rest of it to be a little bit more wild, like to have trees and like brush growing instead of, these lawns. I mean, for kids running around or something like that, I guess it makes sense. Like, I just have this idea in my head of having a structured lawn, with like levels, different rock systems, succulents growing through the rocks keeping down moisture, trees growing between the rocks, and then just having like a system that utilizes water a lot more efficiently while at the same time being aesthetically beautiful instead of lawns. Like lawns are a little bit, you don't need that much lawn. I mean, it might help if you're gonna move around like I do sometimes, but yeah, Melbourne is worth 69 million foot for $120,000. Thank you so much, Gob. No, you set up a meet in one location as well. That is also the plan, Gare Bear. I mean, it might be a plan or something. A pro gamer move. Who? Me. You. Oh, guess everyone just arrived from the cat stream. Geo, and it's nice to have you friends here. What the fuck? Yeah. Other gamer. I hope your mind is melting, dude. Cultural norms. Pick those cultural norms. Eat them from your brain. Succulents, right? Succulents are one of my favorite plants, I think, honestly. I'm a big sucker for trees, and such a big sucker for flowers, but succulents also grow flowers, and the flowers they grow can be pretty trippy, for the most part. So Succulents are so freaking sick. I mean, they can look like, I mean, desert roses, for example. Just desert roses in themselves are so beautiful. The idiot of Reddit. I do identify with the jester like archetype as well, friend. So yeah, idiot, jester, fool, whatever you want to call me, friend. I'm not supposed to be right. You are. But the reaction you gain is yours. And that's what I'm coming here to give. I'm giving you the power to feel what you want to feel. Are you Zimbabwean? I'm South African. That's close. I have a Zimbabwean friend, so like it's kind of nice that you say that. That's one of the friends that I was living with at the commune. Arse. I have one, like we all do. So I guess they aren't too far off as well, Joss. Bam, bam, bam. You're corny as fuck. I know. Sometimes it has to be, Sometimes it has to be a little bit corny. You have to be like, oh, Mel, oh, stop it, man. So it's okay. It's okay to be a little bit corny sometimes. My family, I hadn't seen in years, weren't ready for Isaac. Suddenly, they were like, oh yeah, Isaac, what a kid. Now he's getting married. And then suddenly, bum, bum. Like, you know what I'm talking about, Isaac. Just like melts into the room. Everybody was like, what MCO do you receive medic aid for? I do not have medical care, friend. Can't hear you. There's a little unmute button. Rip the toke. It got toked eventually. Bro, I hate shrooms. They can be a little bit brutal, If you're not willing to listen, anything can be. Just smoke. You absolute weapon. Oh goodness, did you just say that? Yes. Thank you. Trains. I smoked eventually, and I knew I could literally feel the conscious angst of me not just rapidly smoking as soon as I said I was going to. Like, yo, people are getting like worked up. I'm so worked up. Mm. You look like a hippie LARP. Yes. Yes. Actually, I'm like, slick back always, sitting with a suit on. And then I LARP as a hippie occasionally for like an hour a day or something. Yeah. I'm like imagining myself as that character now. What would I do with my free time? I guess look at stocks constantly. Yes. Yes. The graph. Yes. It's doing the thing where it's graphing. Yes. Of course. No, friend. I mean, I genuinely believe that the hippie, right? Like we have this beautiful friend share the acronym what hippie stands for, and he said it stands for highly intellectual person pursuing inner enlightenment. And it's up to you to judge whether I'm intelligent or not. And I don't really care either way because I'm intelligent enough to know that I'm loved, and at least I have that. Right? Goodness, it's such a gift. And I genuinely believe what inner enlightenment is supposed to mean is just realizing that you are that light. The very thing that's eliciting the response of light from this reality. That you're more than just your body. That is what enlightenment means to me. Realize that you are powerful, friend. So powerful. This little beetle. I don't know if it's the same one or if it's just the same species. But these little dudes are really adamant about murdering themselves sometimes in my water. Just hit the bong. Why are you streaming? Usual for you, friend. I'm streaming for you. Showing up every single day is an opportunity for serendipity. Like if I wasn't showing up and you weren't showing up, then you wouldn't have asked me why it is I'm streaming. So, and yet we both did, and yet here we both are. Always look out for ticks. I do actually, friend. Like ticks are something that I'm very vigilant about. But fortunately, we do have. Do you call them avians? No, 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 not avian. Avian is flying. Like cattle species. We call them vee in Afrikaans. It is wille vee of net normale vee. But they basically eliminate the Lyme disease. It is Lyme disease, right? Yeah, Lyme disease virus from the tick population. So even if I do get tick bites and I remove them fast enough, I should be okay. What's your job? This is cancel still. I mean, I make works of art as well. I'm gonna start giving yoga classes, which will also be a source of income. So we're building the life we want to live. Would you just park that ball? It's parked, friend. You're too dumb to live. Rest in peace, flies. I'm too dumb to live. I mean, I'm very much alive though. Hmm. I wonder, is it possible to be too dumb to live? I don't think there is such a thing as dumb. Not really, right? Because lizards have substantially less brain power than I have, and yet they're very much alive. Sometimes even inspiringly so. Like the amount of get up and go a lizard has if it wants to, it's like it's extreme. And they're so curious, I've seen lizard be so curious about me. Like one of the most beautiful experiences kind of happened recently where I was sitting and meditating on the porch, and this little lizard, I was like giving Pippi some belly scratches. She was like laying on her back, and this lizard came up on the porch, noticed that I was giving, Pippi belly scratches, and just stood there and tilted its head up, was watching. And I was like, whoa. What are you seeing, little dude? What is it that thing is experiencing watching this larger being give pets to this smaller being? And then eventually Pippi got up and chased him around. Like, what is that little world, that little being's world frame of reference? I'm so curious. So I don't think there's such a thing as dumb, friend, but thank you for like sharing your opinion. I can smell his life feed. Ooh, it almost smells like roses, friend. Like there's this beautiful tree in the back. Check here. Let me show you. You see those little yellow blossoms? They smell amazing. Like a rosy floral tint. Same. The little lizard could feel your loving presence, and I could feel his or hers, in the same way. Like there was a awareness being shared in that moment. That is the recognition that we are just these beings living life. Like, oh goodness, there's this show on Netflix as well called, I think, Wild Ones. No, Born Wild, maybe. So it's basically about these baby animals that come into the world for the first time. And after watching a movie called SEAL Team, on a very introspective time of my life, it was during New Year's with my parents. There was a there was a recognition of the truth and the story and the depth of potential experience between animals, and animals existing, animals living life, the way that animals see themselves and the rest of the world. Oh goodness, like I genuinely believe that they're just as conscious and present as we are right now. Like I know that's a stretch, especially if the communication. Like a part of me wants to believe that they can even communicate with one another. Like they're they're beautifully aware. Sometimes, if you want to think about it that way, they might even be more aware than you are. Because that lizard, as soon as you enter its environment, right, it instantly knows about you. And sure, it can be because of your scale, but you can walk into that same environment and never notice that little lizard. But when you two acknowledge each other's existence, there is a whole new existence that happens there where both of you now know you know. I said, Miss, you're talking about knowing, huh? You know, puppy. You do know. I know that you know that I know. You know. Well, I've drawn two. Took a breath. A warm feeling is swirling in my chest and I'm smiling. Hooray. Thank you. On that note, I'm gonna start using my blankets. It's getting a little bit chilly. Have my mer blanket sent all the way from America by a friend called Merman. Pippi is like really eyeing this blanket right now. She's like, yes, that looks nice. Yeah, right. Come. You wanna join me with the blanket? You wanna join me? No, you can bite my blanket. Bite my blanket, you silly thing. Peace and love from Minnesota. take a big hit, been taken. Thank you, friends, for your encouragement. Gonna waste another 50 minutes of his nonsensical philosophy. I got you. Hook bait and sinker, right? Maybe that's what you thought. Cool, master. So many of them. That's beautiful. That method man. Why do you have a dick necklace? I mean, you see what you are, friend. Maybe there's something you're revealing about yourself right now. I do see a mushroom, mushroom here as well. Was a gift from a friend at a festival. Was quite an experience. There we go. Silly thing. Maybe I'll share that story again a little bit later. Maybe I'll share it right now. Fine. So this, okay, where did I start? Basically, I met this beautiful, individual at a festival, and we exchanged contact information. And she was like starting this business of creating these beautiful clothing pieces with LEDs inlaid in them, and like these type of knitted uh, chess pieces as well. It was beautiful what she made. And then she had to have a ride to actually get all of her stuff to the festival site. So she asked me if I would be able to help her with that, and I was of course willing to. And then we used the truck to bring all her stuff, and then there was like a weekend of the festival. And then on the Saturday, was it the Saturday? Festival time, yes. On the Saturday, there was this moment where she basically comes up to me with this excited look on her face, and she's like, "Close your eyes." And I'm like, "Okay," and I close my eyes, and I feel her putting something around my neck, and I look down, and I see this little mushroom necklace, and I'm very much a fan of the fungal world. I mean, if you look at the way that mycelium looks and the way that your neurons wire together, there is more similarity than there's not. On an evolutionary level, you share more DNA with funguses than you do with trees. So, like, there's a whole lot of stuff coming up just thinking about the fractal of the funguses. And I was like completely excited, and she was like this close to me with having put this thing around my neck. And then I turned to my friend and I showed him the lighter, and I was excited about it. And now in hindsight, I guess there was a moment, a cultural norm, I guess, was expected in that space, but I was too oblivious to actually see it. And maybe it was exactly the way it was supposed to be. But she was very much not happy with me after that moment, and I could not for the life of me figure out why. I was like, what did I do? What did I do? Did I do something? In fact, I didn't do something. That was the problem. Do it bang. I had a little tea. I had a little to drink and had some absolute melting conversations that came out of nowhere about dark matter, experience, the infinity. No one was ready. How cool is that though, Isaac? Like we get to share fascination in a way that instead of making a topic that is technically complex sound unreachable, we can just inspire awe for the basis of it. Oh, Kartha! Kartha, dude. It's so beautiful that you joined us today. I was like, so we have a friend that started supporting us on Patreon today. And, with the love I felt for him and the support that he shared, I felt that love for you again as well, and I was like genuinely wishing you luck, wishing you love, hoping that you've, worked it out, getting a new job or something. But I think maybe you'll tell me. Can't stay long. I have a doctor's appointment and a short stream to do today, but I had to stop by and send my best regards. Love you, Meltmore. Hope the vibes are right. Dude, I was like legit thinking about you today, man. So much love to you. Whew, have an amazing day, Kartha. Sending you eternal blessings, Rapid Bay. I will be working tomorrow. Look at this dude. Gartha didn't miss a freaking beat. What a machine. So much love to you, Rapid Bay. Thank you for spending a moment with us today. We love you and we're thinking about you. What do you do for work? This friend. Are you growing it or smoking it? Both. Toting. Both. The same goes for you, Shanna, and all of you. Thank you. Kartha sending love to all of you friends You need a turbo lighter, my friend. A turbo lighter would solve my wind problem. I shall see you, beautiful people, soon. We look forward to seeing you again, Brother Bear. Hopefully sooner than later. Nice rip, but no inhale. Yes, no inhale whatsoever. I actually just pretend to smoke weed to make people think that you can do this by smoking weed, tricking people into smoking weed, realizing that they can do that smoking weed, and then maybe trying to not do it by not smoking. What? No, friend. I guess it would be a little bit of a waste. It would be more of sacrilege if I didn't inhale. I'm loving the residual energy. Live it and love it. So beautiful. Bring back memories. Dude in the back row, thank you for being front seat, dude, right here at this moment with me. So many edge lords viewing Reddit stream so early in the morning. So beautiful, and I feel pretty resilient, Yeah, yeah, melting all of it, melting the cultural norms, the way that we usually respond. Hell no, no, none of that. Sure, sure. It takes a lot more work, very much so, but it's so much more worth it. I feel extra good sharing love with someone who doesn't share love with me for some reason. I'm like, oh yeah. Love, 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 love. What's up? Oh, your philosophy is whack. Yeah, dude. I mean, like that instantly makes me think about. Come on, please let me allow his name. Is it Diogenes? It might be Diogenes. I might be wrong. I'm gonna explain the story and then you can correct me if I'm incorrect. But this dude believed in the philosophy of not needing anything so much, right? Like melting away cultural norms. And oh, thank you for sharing that, dude. What a beautiful segue, like just into the stream topic. That's why I love you, friends, so much. Huh? Okay. So his philosophy was not needing anything, to the point where he only had a loincloth and a single bowl. And he was living with dogs, like literally in a dog kennel. He was just sleeping there with the dogs, and he would have this one bowl, and then he would carry that around, and he would like ask for food or put food in that bowl or water in that bowl, and that's the only thing that he kept. And then someone questioned him on his philosophy of not needing anything and why he had the ball, and then he destroyed even the ball, and then he even stopped wearing the loincloths, and he would just walk through the streets fucking mocking people. Like literally shitting on the floor in front of their establishments. This is how much this dude believed in melting away cultural norms. Like just imagine the type of being you have to be to do stuff like that. And I'm not saying that's the way it's supposed to be, not at all. But he understood exactly what role he was supposed to play. He understood exactly what what expression of human beings he had to be to show a side of humanity to humanity that humanity might not be willing to see. They might not want to see it at this point. And that, just as an idea, as a beautiful expression of what we're capable of as human beings. And this dude existed, right? This is not like a fantasy story. This is a real human being. It makes me so happy. Thank you, friend, for being a real human being, literally. Your morning equals the whole world's morning. I mean, not necessarily. I guess, it's morning somewhere in the world, friend. Just like it's night somewhere in the world, just like it's midday somewhere in the world. You know? Cool master. I was an absolute mess that we just melted every turn. Isn't this beautiful? Having mine now. Cheers, bro. Thank you. Tone. South Africa got better Wi-Fi than some areas in the US. Kev, I'm happy that it's coming through clear. Bro, peace out. Johnny Depp's trial is more entertaining. Cool master. I'm sure it is, friend. I'm very sure it is. Give all seeing up. Thank you, friends, for that. Nice of you. I appreciate that. You is the worst of the internet. It's not about being bad at internet. It's about distribution. That's America is massive. That's where you kind of have it rough. Like South Africa is significantly smaller, and we have a little bit more liberal individual business practices. Ooh, the red light. How fascinating. I'll show you Reddit trends first. Those little light beams, as it cuts through the clouds. Life is truly awe-inspiring. And the more we look, the more we see. And that's like all we have to do, really. We just have to try and find the beauty. Realize that we're not only responsible for it, but we're capable of it. We can do it for other people. You can be so loving, so present, that other people feel better, that other people get that awe-inspiring, experience. Thank you. Thank you, Shannon, for joining with me. Like being in this moment, being able to share stuff like this. Whew. Like I think of it as these windows, into each other's lives. It's like a small little window. You only barely peer through it, but literally being able to, in this moment, share different sides of the world with one another. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, friend. I can only impart. I mean, I now have a fractal. I can kind of like see your porch and that tree in front, and then the lawn, and then the other trees in the far back. So I can kind of see, Shannon's fractal right now, and it's so beautiful as well. So thank you, Shannon. Like just you being here elicits all of that information for me as well. Here I am, and now I'm gone. Cheers. Peace out. See you again soon, friend. Come to Australia. I will eventually turn. I will eventually. I love Booper. What is your favorite psychedelic? Mushrooms, friend. Mushrooms. My next tattoo will be the hex panel of the James Webb Telescope. Inhale. Ooh. Ooh, Toast. That is such a fantastic idea. Now I want one. Now I also want one with a cosmic flower of life. I also want one, Toast. You want to get matching tattoos? Because what a beautiful thing that would be, in the same year that we get the first official photos from the James Webb Telescope, getting a tattoo to signify that reality. Ooh, I like that. Oh, I like that more than I'm supposed to. Damn it, Toasty. I had so many other tattoo ideas. That one really takes the cake, man. Noise. Noise you. Thank you for the helpful. Or let you know, I do apologize, but I've been awake for over 24 hours. Go to sleep. Go to sleep, Gear Bear. Please, Brother Bear, take care of yourself. So much love to you. What's your job? This. Thank you, Cancel Still. I love it so much that you keep asking because I get to keep saying, get to keep believing that this is my job. Oh, you should see it now. So much more green. The leaves have all come in, and it's just a sea of green out of my window. Woo! Thank you, Shannon, so much. I could take you to Canadian border or elsewhere. You'd like. Thank you so much, Molly. I'll let you know, friend. We'll be in this space, and I'll let you friends know as we get closer to it. Hey, 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 Melty. Hey, who needs tears? Thank you for joining us, friend. No, it wasn't me. I'm driving at yoga time. Okay, thank you. I just had to make sure, friend. Just as I was like not attaching, misaligning fractals in my head. Melt obviously he was never. And no goodness, no, Uncle Becky, you no giving me moonshine. No. We have something called mampur here in South Africa, and it's like a steam distillate type of alcohol. Is it steam distillate? You have like a container, and then it has like a downpour spout. I guess that's the same way you might make moonshine, but we call it mampur, and it's like 180 proof stuff. It gets up to 180 proof stuff, maybe even higher than that. Mm. I hear those words, and my mind is like, that is, no, 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 please. Like I get chills down my spine just even thinking about it. I feel you melt. I love a classic Irish descendant in my family. A lot of descendants. Thank you. Thank you, Brad. I have a lot of Irish descendants in my family, and it's always been a very normal to party hard with the booze. I've definitely gained a much more love for Mary Jane, and I hardly drink much. But when we get together, we're like daggone dwarves. Oh, no, 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 no. Like, unironically, I would also get wasted if I was like in a world like Lord of the Rings, and I was drinking with dwarves and elves. 100%. That does seem merry, especially the dwarves. Oh goodness. Especially alcohol also causes symptoms of depression and anxiety to worsen. That is what ultimately makes me decide to cut back on alcohol almost completely. And again, friends, on the most fundamental level, what we're talking about is not good versus bad, but about balance, right? All things are but two extremes of the same thing. And realizing that we're just trying to find balance. Me being a little bit silly, me being a little bit extreme, allows you to find balance in yourself, right? You don't have to be me. You don't have to be ridiculous. You don't have to say the words I say because you get to say the words you say. And you allowing yourself to hear words allows you to share more because you literally have more perspective. I kind of think of it as allowing yourself these little fractal expressions of thought. So hearing certain words, experiencing certain emotions, seeing certain colors, create these little fractals in your brain. And then every single time it does that, now you have that as a resource to call upon. And that stuff stays into infinity, right? Like that neural pattern, you might lose some of the neurons, but on a fundamental level, that pattern exists now within you. And then how does that influence you going forward? And taking responsibility for that in people's lives and trying to bring good fractals into their lives, trying to bring the best of the expression of life instead of trying to take away from them. And man, alcohol takes away from that, you know, at least in some of my experiences where you lose those beautiful moments, you lose those communications, you lose those heartfelt experiences of other human beings because it's something that by nature makes your brain stop forming those neural connections. It sounds like a nice, super cool tattoo, right? I'm like thinking about it myself right now. Like seriously, my mouth was watering looking at the green jar. I like moonshine. Goodness, pop off peach moonshine. I mean, that sounds like Mampur, really, genuinely. Actually, thank you. Talking about peaches, Eden joining us. Eden, Ninja Peach Moonshine. You like it? No? Yes. Perfect. Jasmine is off to her training, and I'm back to work, feeling the resistance. And I see why people want to go on a trip. Going back to normal life is so tough. Honeymoon is a month or so, though. Okay, Isaac. I think it's gonna be even more blissful when you do get there. You know, it's gonna be like a relief even. Day after psychedelic brain is my bread and butter. Yeah, yeah, that afterglow. Love that shirt, bro. Thank you so much, friend. I love it as well. Oh, lame. I'm gonna swear another short break. It's okay. I'm feeling excited about it. Good. So much love to you, friends. Stumbled upon a cute mama duck. Oh, I tucked her under a huge oak tree, sitting on eggs. She was calm as we watched for a long time from afar. Beautiful moments. Whew. Like there probably did go, you know, this fractal through her head of you coming up and how she was going to respond if you do that, and you know the angst that might go along with that, and then you just living into the fractal of not disturbing her, allowing her her space, allowing her to do play her role as a mother. It's it's a recognition that words wouldn't be able to communicate. How is it in China? Did you go? I did, friend. It was an experience. It's quite an experience. You know, I'm not sure if it was a good experience. Not all of it, maybe. But it was an experience. I got to see just how painful disempowered people can experience life as. Yes, words in a sequence. Like people in that space, you know, were so disempowered that the only thing that was acceptable, you know, was drinking and smoking cigarettes, and that was very popular. Like parents would bring me cigarettes every single day as a teacher, and then if you say no, that's rude. So I have to say yes to taking these people's cigarettes. And the only pastime, you know, is drinking. And then having colleagues that like brag about how much money they spent in a single night drinking. And I'm like, but why exactly is that something to be proud of? You know, like I would be ashamed. I would be so ashamed. I would like not share that with anybody. I would be, you know, probably like beating myself up for a week about it or something. And then it's like a, you know, something to talk about, if you will, in my like teacher's office, if you will, the place where we were like not in class, if you will, you know. And I was those cultural norms, you know, it was a cultural norm that was formed around disempowered people because I genuinely believe that alcohol, or at least the recreational continual consumption of alcohol, balance, not bad, reduces the human capacity to feel empowered because it's the sedative, okay, now your problems are gone type of experience that makes the constant cycle bearable, you know. And then people work to be able to afford to drink, and then they drink, and then they need to go and work. And it's this toxic feedback loop that is so present in China right now. And especially alongside this, there is this expectation for human beings to be these things, you know, these monetizable, presentable things instead of being human beings first. They, at 6 years old, have classes up until, you know, 8 at night in order to have that gradation to be able to say, yeah, you know, I have English as well. And the reason they have it at 8 at night is because the rest of their schedule is packed for the rest of the day. So they have sports and instruments that they have to play. It was so absurd. It was so absurd, and it hurt me so much seeing how this perpetual, almost, I want to say government obsessed, you know, but it's a little bit of a yikes. Like cultural norms melted away. Yeah, government obsessed, you know, to the point where it's this parasympathetic or maybe parasitic relationship where the government has been so entrenched in the financial systems, the schooling systems, that there is a complete trust in them that they have only the best in store and only the best wishes, if you will, while at the same time having this extreme consumerist society where people are willing to move to the middle of cities and pay like extreme prices for apartments just in order to be in the city, to be able to earn a salary in the city that is going to be indicative of the life you live in the city. And I can tell you, and it was again like the people that was there, everyone that I saw, they were going out drinking, you know, like that was the life in the city. And I saw it so many places. Like it was like it was a trip because I lived in three different cities, you know, when I went there. Three different cities, all of them in exactly the same trip. Like not even a single beat was missed. It was eerie. It was like watching mind control. And if I didn't get to see that, I don't know if I'd be as adamant as I am about the empowerment of the individual as I am right now. So China was definitely an experience I needed to have, friend, but I'm not sure if I'd recommend it. Mm. You would totally freak out hanging out with me. Love love this. Love you, Miss Molly. I look forward to it. It's gonna happen, you know, it's just a matter of time. Yesterday's experience was rough. I cried happy tears, sad tears. I cried a lot. I feel like a sponge that has been wrung out and soaked repeatedly, and now the residue is spilling into today's emotions. My heart breaks for my sweet friends. Meow. My sweet little friend. Are you being silly? Are you being silly? Let me go. Oh, there goes my bong. It's okay. Thank you, Eden, for allowing yourself to feel with me in this moment. Enjoy the day as much as you can, friends. Guard your focus on the things that serve you and take care on the beautiful advice. Thank you so much. Thank you, sausage and eggs. Thank you, friend, for sharing love. Thank you for those lovely sentiments. Sending you love, Aunt B. Thank you so much, friend. You have the same. We crafted a sign that said, "Don't mind the weeds, we're feeding the bees." And we leave the lawn to get nice and shaggy for those buzzy bees. as long as we can. Thank you for recognizing that they need to eat too. Everything is wild on my property. I wouldn't even cut the flowers, but they worship. The township says I have to. Sacrilege. Lane, thank you for joining us, man. Hello, fellow human beings. The funny thing, I know quite a few hippies that are into stocks. Lane. Yeah, unfortunately, there's no switching off awareness. So it was more of a leaning into a cultural norm to see how you feel about it, right? I tell many you can either be right or be happy. Not many understand what that means. Yeah. I've concluded, if you will, that there is no such thing as a real right. Again, it's just like the spectrum of understanding. And to instead of trying to correct someone and be right in a situation, to see in which part of the infinity they are and to acknowledge that and to just be with that. I'm still working on it, but it is becoming easier. Same to you, friend. Guard that focus. Hoping you have a great day. Love to you. Corey joining us as well. Love this chat. Aren't they beautiful toned? Talking about people we love. Dan and Kate joining us at the same moment. Melt, lovely friends. Happy Monday. Hope everyone has a good start to their week. Thank you so much, Kate. Hoping the same for you, especially. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you're winning. I do believe you are. You picked up my cap and ground today. Commitments. Dan, it's so nice to have you here, man. You're blowing my mind. I graduated this time 10 years ago. Dan, like I literally, if it wasn't for seeing this meme, I wouldn't have this little fractal. But I think like 2 days ago, maybe even a day ago, I saw this meme of, congratulations, kid, for graduating. I graduated. And then it's like 3 scratched out, 7 scratched out, 10, years ago. You're like, "Oh, getting older, aging into an old man." Good morning again, Brother Brandon, Uncle Becky himself. What a lovely being. Thank you for joining us. I overslept today, no stream this morning. Thank you for joining us, though, Brother Bay. It's nice to have you in this space. I hope we can give you some energy to go to continue into your day. Thank you for the power pop, the power up post. I appreciate that, Eden. Don't know how I did that, and yet it is done. Thank you so much, my friend. You have the power. Oh, we actually don't have power right now. Like the power is off right now, but we have an uninterrupted power supply that has been manifested by the space, so we can actually continue even without electricity. Just read the title. Would y'all consider me a cultural norm? No, very much not so, Uncle Becky. You are a man living in Texas who grew up in the exact same environment that I did, where drinking and having sex is the majority pastime. And then you became you, someone that talks about the most beautiful manifestations, talks about goats flying, talks about talks about, beautiful blue jay feathers, and like what's the word you use, enchanting things. Like very much like here's the cultural norm of what a man in Texas usually uh, stereotypically looks like, right? And I don't even have one, but you know that people do. And then there's you, Uncle Becky. You're the other side of the infinity. Do you think about Rivasetti? I don't know what that is, unfortunately, Hasbu. I think you've asked me before, though. I would be the goal, Uncle Becky. Light work be working. That it do. That it do. Thank you so much, Ravan, for like continually practicing that. Like you have become so powerful. Golden hour, golden ratio, golden melt. When I read this, instantly I got the image of you in the truck with your heart, with your beard tucked into your hat. Gotta say no, probably not. No, definitely not. Thank you for so like sharing the same. Hey, thank you, Buddy McMurray, for joining us, friend. Even Red Clicker, love to you, friend. Thank you for joining us as well. Here with you, dear friend. Didn't see this at first, sending you strength to walk bravely through those feelings. I know you will. Even easier so with that acknowledgement. Thank you so much, Brother Bear. Mental health talk on Arpan at 1 p.m. South Pacific time, maybe. Thank you, friends. Goodness, what a pleasure. What a pleasure. Whew. So, I want to I want to ask you, friends, something. And this comes very difficultly to me, genuinely. Like it's something that I have almost aversion to sometimes, to the point where I create like mental turmoil. And it's around how it is we're supposed to be earning a living. You know, we have a Patreon, and Jovan, if you'd be willing, friend, to tag the Patreon for us, it's just Meltmore. If you go to Patreon itself, you can just search Meltmore and you'll be able to find me as well. And I know it's a big ask to ask you to support me, right? I know, especially in the moment of time we are in right now. But the offer that I'm making is that for a single dollar and 11 cents, for a single dollar and 11 cents, you can gain access to every day's work of art that I make, right? And they're flowers. They're flowers by design. I make these little psychedelic flowers and I use the colors that I wear every single day. And I use the geometry going from 1 up until 9 and then starting that cycle over again. And I create these psychedelic flowers. And what we know about flowers right now, and you can go and research this, benefits of flowers on the human brain, if you want more convincing. And there's like a whole list of benefits, and some of them might be because they look natural, they look like nature. Some of them might be because they smell a certain way. Some of them might be because of the certain colors. But just imagining that a flower, looking at a flower, can create a positive response in us, can create an experience of joy, of love. And then me, for a single dollar a month, right? Less than the price of a chocolate bar, or, you can buy like a quarter of a coffee at this point of a single buck. But for a single buck, getting 30 flowers. Huh? 30 flowers or like 365 flowers in a year? That sounds like a good deal. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna practice. I'm gonna get better at that. Hopefully, at some point, like you would hear those words and just be like, "Goodness, why am I not paying a single dollar for all of these flowers?" Like, yes, what am I missing? Thank you, friends, for even considering it. Like, legitimately, like even if you for a moment was like, but still, no. I thank you. That was enough. Like there was a little bit of a fractal still experience. You friends honor me with your presence. You honor me just by listening to the words I have to say. You honor me by being such loving beings. Genuinely, you friends have shown me that love is true. And I know it's almost like cliche at this point, but that is what I show up for. On the most fundamental level, when I ask myself why it is I'm doing this, the answer comes back that love is true. And that if I do things out of love, that love will be true in my life. And that is where I'm coming from, friends. That is what I'm asking you to support if you're willing to support anything at all. I love you. I honestly do, and I want to continue doing this literally forever. That's my goal, that's my mission, that's my purpose. And you friends having already supported me, like thank you. Talking about people that support me just right now in this space, Eden, so much support. God, of course, you have supported me in so many ways as well, Brother Bay. Isaac, beloved brother, you have supported me. Jovan, like these friends have literally supported me on Patreon directly. Red Clicker, you have added so much support to this space and to the Haywire Hill community that you are infinitely thanked for that. Shannon, beloved friend, thank you for your support of me. I honor you, friends, so much for that. We're melting away cultural norms. You friends are literally helping me do that. If every single one of you are willing to support me, we're building a new reality together. A reality that we can only usually imagine, and yet here we are experiencing it, having already realized it. It's a trip. Oh, you should see it now. So, okay, again, after one. I want a wall of collections of your flowers. Shannon! So, I wanted to share this, but I do actually want to make a print shop. Like that's the next fractal that I have to practice, and hopefully with that there might be enough income to actually do what it is I want to come do in America as well, to be able to do it for as long as I want to do it. Thank you. The importance to make available what you create. Support you, Mel. I know you do. Thank you so much, Red. Thank you so much, friends, for allowing me to say these things. Without me feeling like I do. You saw at the start. I was like, "Ugh," my wanted to get out of my own skin. I was like, but we got through it. Huh? Here we are at the end of it, having won, having experienced the melting away of another days worth of cultural norms. Like we felt a lot. I felt a lot. I felt so much during this stream with you, friends. Got a little bit silly at some points, got a little bit ridiculous, and yet here we are, still normal for the most part, I guess. Still experiencing, still breathing, still capable of drinking water and eating food. Still present and aware. Thank you for being present and aware with me today. I'll see you, friends, again tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. My brother-in-law makes vinyl stickers and decals. Of course he does. Of course he does, Shannon. Normal is boring. Yeah, normal is boring. Jovan, weirdly enough, I like for some reason, I mean, not for some reason, Melida shared with me that she has a partner, and this partner's is also a Taurus, and his star sign is a Pisces. And then there was a sharing of the Pisces. No, his moon sign is a Pisces. And then I was like, what is my moon sign? Went and found out that it is Sagittarius. And one of the things that Sagittarius is known for, or the moon sign Sagittarius is known for, is boring. Normal is boring, like the ordinary is boring, or at least only seeing it as ordinary is in and of itself boring. So yeah, hell yeah, Jovan. Thank you, friends, for not being boring with me, for creating, for allowing me to create, in a way that I can actually support myself in doing so. Can support you, friends, in doing so. I'm still flabbergasted. So flabbergasted. I love you, friends, eternally. Thank you for joining me. Love to you. See you again tomorrow.